If you woke up as an octopus, your first problem would not be a shark. It would be your own arms. Roughly 2/3 of your entire nervous system lives out in those 8 arms, not in your head, which means each one can taste, grip, and half decide things before your brain even hears about it. You are not one creature giving 8 limbs orders. You are one small manager trying to stop 8 semi-independent employees from doing 8 different jobs at once, and some mornings, 2 of them are already reaching into 2 different cracks in the rock before the rest of you has even woken up. And none of this counts as a bad day. This is simply how every day goes for you. You are a common octopus, wedged into a crack in a rock on the seafloor, and you have no herd, no pack, no family group waiting outside. No oldest member deciding when to move, no lookout, no chain of command. Your entire social structure is you. That's it. Most days, the only other octopus you'll encounter is either a meal or a threat, and you won't know which until you're close enough that it matters. For your species, a full life runs about 1 to 2 years, start to finish. Hatch, grow, eat, hide, mate once, and for a female, guard your eggs until you die. That's the whole career. You don't know that part yet. Right now, you just have today. Your morning task is simple to say and exhausting to do: find food without becoming food. You slide out of your crack by pouring your entire boneless body through a gap barely wider than your own eyeball because the only hard part of you is a small beak at the center, roughly the size of a parrot's. Everything else is muscle and skin, which means if the opening fits your beak, it fits you. You can flatten, stretch, and fold yourself into shapes that would put a contortionist out of a job, and you do it just to reach the inside of a discarded shell where something small and edible might be hiding. You don't hunt with your eyes first. You hunt with your skin. Your arms are covered in suckers, thousands of them, and each one is packed with its own chemical sensors, so touching something and tasting something are the same action for you. You are basically licking the entire ocean floor with 240 separate tongues. One rock at a time, looking for a crab, a clam, anything with less patience than you. When one arm brushes against something promising, it doesn't wait for a group meeting. It grips first and reports back later. When you find a crab, you don't chase it so much as smother it. One arm pins it, another wraps it, a third checks a nearby crevice in case there's a second one hiding, all more or less simultaneously, all without you consciously directing every move. It's less hunting and more delegating, except your employees have suckers and none of them ask for a raise. Occasionally, you'll even use tools for the job, carrying a coconut shell or a rock across open sand to use later as cover, which is a level of planning most people don't expect from something with no spine. Here's the part that makes you look ridiculous to anyone watching. You don't just hide from danger, you argue with your own skin about it. Your body is covered in chromatophores, tiny pigment sacs surrounded by muscle, and you have thousands of them layered with reflective cells underneath. When you want to disappear, your brain sends a signal and your entire skin changes color and even texture in under a second. Smooth to bumpy, tan to mottled brown, matching the rock behind you almost exactly. You do this constantly, all day, not because you're being clever, but because you have absolutely no shell, no armor, and no backup plan if something bigger notices you. Camouflage isn't a party trick for you. It's rent you pay every single minute just to keep existing. On a slow day, you might change color dozens of times before lunch, most of it for an audience of nobody. The bigger threats show up fast. A moray eel can fold itself into the same tight crevices you use for cover, so hiding doesn't always work. A shark or a seal can simply outmuscle you in open water, where you have no rocks to melt into. And if you're unlucky enough to run into a larger octopus, the danger isn't a rival, it's dinner, because your own species will eat you without hesitation. There's no code between octopuses, there's no species loyalty. There's just size, and today you are not the biggest thing on the reef. Your best defense when camouflage fails is to leave a piece of yourself behind and go. You can release a cloud of ink to blind and confuse a predator, and if a moray or a seal manages to grab an arm, you can voluntarily detach it and swim off while the arm keeps twitching on its own for several minutes afterward, still using its own local nerve network, still not needing your head's permission to move. It grows back eventually. It is essentially an escape fee you pay in body parts. And it works because whatever grabbed you is now busy holding a very confused, still moving arm instead of the rest of you. By the time your day is done, your body has been running 3 separate hearts this entire time, 2 pumping blood through your gills and 1 pumping it everywhere else, and that blood is blue instead of red because it's built on copper instead of iron. It's a strange, expensive way to run a body, but it works well in cold water where oxygen is hard to hold on to. The main one, the systemic heart that pushes blood to the rest of your body, actually stops beating when you swim hard, which is part of why you'd rather crawl across the seafloor than dart through open water. Swimming, for you, is basically an emergency setting, not a commute. And you do sleep, in a way most people never picture. Researchers studying octopus sleep have found 2 distinct phases. A long, quiet phase where you sit still and pale, and short bursts of active sleep, where your skin flickers rapidly through colors and textures for a minute or 2, almost like you're rehearsing a hiding spot in your sleep before you actually need it. Nobody watching a sleeping octopus expects a light show, but there it is, running on its own every night whether anyone's around to see it or not. If you're a female nearing the end of your life, there's one more task waiting, and it's the biggest one you'll ever take on. You'll lay tens of thousands of eggs in strings inside a den, and then you'll guard them, clean them, and gently blow currents over them with your siphon for months without leaving to eat, in some deep water species for well over a year straight. By the time they hatch, you'll be starved, worn down, and within days of your own death. Your species doesn't build up strength for round 2. There is no round 2. You get 1 shot at reproducing, and it costs you everything you have left, right down to the last of your own body tissue. Most people picture an octopus as some kind of alien genius, gliding around, solving puzzles, effortlessly outsmarting everyone in the tank. And in fairness, the puzzle-solving part is real. Researchers have documented octopuses opening jars, escaping enclosures, squeezing through gaps no one thought possible, and recognizing individual humans well enough to target the ones who annoy them. But the daily reality behind that reputation is a short, mostly solitary, physically brutal life spent constantly negotiating with your own semi-independent arms, repainting your entire body every few minutes just to stay alive, licking rocks for a living, and eventually spending your very last week starving yourself on purpose to protect eggs you'll never see hatch. So being an octopus sounds like something out of science fiction, until you realize it's just manage 8 limbs that don't fully listen to you, repaint your skin every time you're scared, lick the ocean floor for lunch, keep 3 hearts running while avoiding anything with teeth, and if you're a mother, work yourself to death guarding a nursery you'll never meet.